Welcome to the Transform Your Wedding podcast, a how-to guide for taking your wedding to a whole new level. Here's your host, Marie Kubin from Rent My Wedding.
Hey everyone! Today we're talking about how to have a beautiful wedding and save a lot of money. We're chatting with Jessica Bishop, a best-selling author and the founder of the Budget Savvy Bride, which is an extensive online resource for couples that want to learn how to plan a beautiful wedding on a budget that they can actually afford. Jessica's wedding planning book is the #1 wedding planner on Amazon, and she's been featured in media outlets across the country like Good Morning America and Glamour, Refinery 29, Cosmopolitan, Brides, and a whole lot more. So I'm really excited to talk with Jessica and share some great insider advice about how to save money and still have a beautiful wedding. Hey Jessica, well thank you so much for joining me today.
Hey, Marie, thank you so much for having me. I'm excited to chat with you.
Yeah, absolutely. Well, I'm excited to have you on the show because you are literally the queen of budget weddings. And I especially love our topic because I think so many people assume that budget weddings are just kind of cheap looking and tacky. But the truth is, you can have a really beautiful wedding and still save money.
Absolutely. It's totally possible. And I definitely want to help just stop that line of thinking because you really don't have to spend a lot or even decorate a whole lot to make your wedding look really beautiful.
Yeah, it's so true. So, well, good. Well, I know you've got a lot of great tips. So let's just jump right in. Let's talk about 5 ways that you can save money and have a beautiful wedding.
So my first tip would be that less is more, honestly. You don't really have to go over the top and overly decorate a space. I think choosing like a really nice neutral background space is a great way to keep things chic and simple and minimal. Minimalist style is very in and it gives a more like sleek and chic vibe. My second tip would be that just choosing a location that's naturally beautiful is a great way to make things look beautiful for less. And a lot of times that includes, outdoor spaces, places that have beautiful greenery or flowers or a backyard, even. Like there's so much beauty to just be absorbed from the natural environment. And so that means you don't have to spend as much time or worry or money on the decorations.
Yeah, that is so true. And I love too if you're doing something like you said, a backyard or outdoors, you can save a lot of money in other ways too, because then you're not stuck with like the banquet halls catering and their beverage and everything.
Yeah, I agree. I think it's just a really great way to personalize things as well. You can really have a lot more control over the different vendors or things that you bring in, and so you're not kind of stuck with whatever preferred vendor list might be on a traditional wedding venue's policies.
Your third tip, I'm really curious about because I know it's about neutral colors, and I've been thinking about this all week. I have no idea what you're going to give us for this one, so I can't wait to hear how neutral colors can help you save.
Yeah, so I'm sure everyone has seen like kind of the trend of having like an all white wedding, like having even the bridesmaids in white dresses along with the bride. It's a very modern thing, but even if your bridesmaids are in more of like maybe like a taupe or like a muted tone, that works too. But what I'm really talking more specifically about is like the decor. So when it comes to like flowers and vases and even like your table linens, all of those things, if you're choosing like the basic standard box standard option, are probably going to be white. And so going with that and leaning into a more neutral monochromatic color palette is probably going to save you money because you're not paying for like the upgraded different color linens and things like that. And then of course, going with simple florals that are white, carnations, even daisies, or baby's breath is a really great option in terms of like something that you can use in mass that is fitting into that neutral palette is a really great way to save money. And again, it kind of adds to that whole like minimalist, sleek, chic look.
Yeah, definitely. And yeah, that is so true. I remember for my wedding, the venue had linens in white or black, and those were the two options that were just included with the price. And if you wanted colors, you would have to pay more. So that's definitely such a great tip. If you're able to stick with those neutral colors, you can just totally save a lot of money that way, and you don't have to pay for upgraded linens or other things where you're getting these specialty colors, and it's still going to look beautiful.
Yeah, I really love it. And I think it's, just it's easy, right? Like everybody wants to just like spend less time and energy like worrying about all these little details. And if you can just like lean into whatever those standard options are, you're going to spend less time worrying about it and it's going to cost you less money.
Yeah, that is so true. And not to mention, you don't have to color match. That's another horror story when you buy, your linens from one company and your sashes from another one. And teal is not the same shade of teal from every company. It's insane. So you can
Yes.
also kind of drive yourself crazy, I think, if you try to go all out with your colors.
That's such a good point. Honestly, like color matching like your bridesmaids dresses to like your linens or your napkins for your table settings, like that's a nightmare. Just save yourself the trouble, the headache, the hassle and go for something simple. So the next thing that I would say is to kind of focus on creating like focal points in your space, whether it's your ceremony or your reception. Obviously, for your ceremony, the altar is going to be what takes like the most focus. For that particular part of your wedding. So having like a really beautiful altar space, whether you set up a beautiful backdrop. I know you guys have a lot of great, pipe and drape options and backdrop options and things like that. Just something to give it that wow factor for that one space. You don't really have to worry about decorating a lot else for your ceremony. And then when it comes to your reception, placing areas of like focus on your sweetheart table if that's what you choose to do, or the photo booth or the cake table, having some sort of backdrop or special flower arrangement or something like that to draw the eye to those particular areas of interest at your reception. You don't have to have these big elaborate centerpieces that are going to get in your guest's way while they're sitting at your reception tables. Really just kind of focusing on the areas that make the most wow factor or like visual impact, and keeping the rest simple is a great way to kind of cut your costs.
Yeah, I totally agree. I think that is such a key point, is just having one specific thing you're going to focus on. And, you can splurge a little bit if you do want to spend a little bit, pick that one area and just really do that up, and then don't worry about the rest. And, especially now more than ever, we all want that awesome Instagram photo, right? So just pick one spot where you can get a really cool photo. And I think that's such a great way to still have this look of a beautiful wedding, but save yourself a ton of money.
Right. And I think too, like, even going back to like the kind of neutral palette, like if you have, the box standard linens, like white tablecloths or whatever on most of your tables, but say you splurge on like a sequin tablecloth for your sweetheart table or your cake table, that creates visual interest and that helps to elevate your look without having to splurge on sequin linens for every table in your reception space, which could just feel like a little bit extra. You know what I mean? Kind of trying to focus on those key areas to make the most impact and get the most for your money.
Absolutely. So,
Yeah.
and I know your last tip is all about lighting. I can't wait for
Yes.
this one.
Yes, of course. I think lighting is so key to creating like a really impactful visual effect to your reception space. Uplights are so inexpensive. I know you guys at Rent My Wedding have a really affordable uplighting for couples to rent for their weddings. And just adding that extra splash of color, especially if you are going with more neutral colors for your linens and your decor, having a splash of color via those lights is a great way to add color without a lot of cost.
Yeah, that's, definitely my number one thing. I love lighting. I think it's like the best bang for your buck with wedding decor. So totally agree, especially if you're going to pick just, a low key venue and maybe go really simple with everything. If you just add a couple of uplights, it's going to totally just take it to the next level. It's going to make that room look so amazing. And I think people don't even realize how cheap it is. Honestly, it's like you could put two uplights behind the sweetheart table and it's going to be $38. So it's
Yeah.
crazy how cheap it is, but it looks so amazing.
It really does transform a space and make it feel like more of an experience and more of an event than just, you're in a garage or you're in an empty gym. Those lights can really make a big difference and add a whole level of like ambiance that it wouldn't have otherwise.
Absolutely. Well, good.
Yeah.
Well, those were 5 really amazing tips about how to have a beautiful wedding and save money. So that's really great advice, Jessica. And I also want to talk more about the Budget Savvy Bride and all the tips and resources that you have over there. So tell us more about your website.
Yeah, so the Budget Savvy Bride, I started it 12 years ago in 2008, which is insane. And we love sharing resources to help couples save money every step of the way, whether it's tips and tricks to kind of keep those costs down, or one of our most popular features is our real weddings section. So unlike a lot of other blogs out there, you might go and like look at a real wedding and see the beautiful photos, but wonder like, well, how did they make that happen? And like, how much did this actually cost? So one of the things that we do is all of the couples who we feature on our website share their budget breakdown. So you can actually find out how other couples spent their wedding budget and how they allocated it. So you can kind of see how far your budget could go. So if you're working with $5,000 or $10,000 or $15,000, you can browse our real wedding features based on the amount that you have to spend, and you can see how other couples were able to do it with that same amount. So that's really, really helpful.
Yeah, I think that is so amazing. No one else is doing that. You're the only one. So I think that is such a great tool when people don't know where to start with their budget, especially, and then they just have no clue, like, how far is that budget going to go? Most people have never planned a big event before. So I think hands down, that's should be the first thing everyone looks at when they're planning a wedding is go to your website and look at those real weddings by budget.
Yeah, I agree. I think it's especially helpful for couples who are working with, what's considered to be like lower than the average, which I'm sorry, I don't really believe in the average wedding budgets that are published by mainstream media. But, if you are working with $20,000 or less, we have tons of great examples of what can be done with that budget, and learning from other couples who've made it happen. And then another thing we really love to do is share, obviously, like different deals that they can take advantage of, whether it's for things like decor or invitations, things like that. We have a lot of great partners that we work with to share deals with our savvy couples. And very soon, we're also going to be launching a vendor directory as well. So hopefully, we'll be able to help couples even find vendors for their big day.
Amazing.
Yeah.
And I know you also have a book. I literally give this to everybody I know who gets engaged.
I'm super proud of it. Honestly, it's like my pride and joy. Honestly, the book came out almost 2 years ago. I'm like ready to do an update to share even more resources in there. But yeah, it's a step-by-step wedding planner. It goes from everything from just like preparing yourselves for deciding what you want for your wedding, defining your priorities and your values and what's important to you about your wedding day, so you can plan appropriately and budget for that, and also keep like the big picture in mind for your life goals beyond just the wedding day and that financial investment. But and then, of course, through the wedding planning process, every step of the way, start to finish, checklists, worksheets. It's got lots of things that you can fill out together, and questions you and your partner can talk through together, questions to ask vendors. It's really thorough and really, really helpful. And the best part is it's only $8 on Amazon. So it'll be the best $8 you spend while you're planning your wedding.
It really will. You guys, you need to get her book. It's amazing.
Thank you. Thank you.
Why don't you tell everyone how they can get in touch with you and where to find you on social media?
Yeah, definitely. Our website is thebudgetsavvybride.com. We also are everywhere on Instagram, Budget Savvy Bride. We're on Twitter. We're on Pinterest. We love to share lots of fun projects and stuff on Pinterest and YouTube as well. And we also have a really active Facebook group. I keep meaning to mention this every time I go somewhere, but yeah, we have a really active Facebook group where there are thousands of couples who are currently planning their weddings, and they love to share ideas and get feedback. And it's just a really great community to be a part of. So I definitely welcome anybody who wants to join us there on Facebook.
Well, Jessica, thank you so much. These were great tips. I really appreciate you taking the time to share all these great resources with everyone. And
thank you so much for having me.
Absolutely. So thanks everyone for watching, and we will see you next time.
This podcast is brought to you by Rent My Wedding, your one-stop shop for event rentals. Order online and rentals are delivered right to your door. Shipping is free both ways nationwide. Rent lighting, backdrops, photo booths, and more. With the most 5-star reviews in the industry, Rent My Wedding makes rentals easy and affordable. Book your rentals today at www.rentmywedding.com.